beginning is always great.
I love it. I love it.
Hey, everybody, welcome to Think Business. What are you good at? Edition. Jeff Gunsberg, partner at Title Connect, and myself co-host this every Monday. And today we're looking forward to talking to Richard Simtob. Richard, it's great to see you. You've been on my podcast a bunch of times, and we've known each other for a long, long time. This podcast is, Jeff and I hate using the word COVID, but over COVID had a series that we did. We did that for a while, and then the world was getting back to the office, and so we kind of picked this one up. And really, the goal is to really talk to business people who are successful and thriving and give back and are part of not only the business world but the community, and find out what you're good at and really kind of dive into that and all the components of it. So when you think about what you're good at, what are you good at? What's your unique ability, and how did you figure it out?
Excellent question. Well, great seeing both of you guys, and thanks for having me on today. I went to the program called The Strategic Coach by Dan Sullivan. Have you heard of it?
I did it for a year. I did it for 1 year. I loved it. Yeah.
I did 2 years. Sad, both of us, we should have done it longer, but I did 2 years, and the second year gets focused on your unique ability.
Yeah.
So the exact word that you're talking about. Survey, you send emails out to people that you work with, people that work for you, people that you have close personal friendships with. You send that email and you get all these responses back of how they see you. And then in the Strategic Coach program, you distill it down and you come up with your unique ability. I came up with mine years ago, and I still believe it's true. My unique ability is to uncover underlying issues, negotiate mutually beneficial solutions, and inspire future leaders to make a positive difference in the world. And really, those three words, uncover, negotiate, inspire, is where I think I bring the most value to the world, and when I'm in my sweet spot and I have the most joy.
Where did you? But first off, I love that. I've known you for some time, and we work together and do some things together and have relationships and golf together and all this stuff. And I find you to be inspiring. So you certainly have that down for sure. When did you realize that you needed something else other than what you knew for yourself, and got out of your own way, ego wise, and said, you know what, I need something more to help me develop and change and grow, and just put myself in a position to be better than I am now. When did that happen, and how did you get to that point?
I mean, in each business that I've been in, I've had business partners. I've never owned a business all by myself. And there's always a yin and a yang. And I sometimes, when I'm not in my sweet spot, usually the worst of me comes out. And then when you get frustrated or you get angry or you feel like you're not making traction, it's easy to, forget what you're really good at and what you should be doing. And sometimes you got to step back and say, why am I doing all these crazy things? Why don't I just do what I'm best at? There is a part of the traction program. You break your days or all your activities in a week into 4 quadrants. The things that you love and you're great at, the things that you like and you're good at, the things that you don't like to do, but you're still good at them, and the things you hate to do and you suck. And when you start to put all this down on paper and look at what you do, you realize you got to spend much more time on the top half. And perfect world, you're only spending 80% of your time in love and great, and you're not even spending time in like and good. So you have to explore and think about yourself and where you get the most joy and you can bring the most value.
Well said. Derek Dickow just had an event, and I didn't go. I wasn't thinking about going. In hindsight, I wish I did. And I've been watching a bunch of clips from his event, Power Connections. And one of the clips is with Mr. Wonderful talking about And Derek asked him, I can't remember the specific questions, but I think it's like basically, what do all successful people do? And he said, well, I stole it from Jeff. I know you were there, so you probably heard it. I stole
Richard was there, but I don't know.
Oh,
if
were
he
you
was
there?
in the back,
Yeah.
but
I
Okay.
missed his speech.
He
I
missed
missed
that,
his
but
speech.
he was there. We were at the
Well,
event together.
Yeah,
but,
he talked about, I just stole it from Steve Jobs. So, signals versus the noise, focusing on, the 3, 4, 5 most important pieces of my day, and then getting rid of the noise. And so as a business owner, and I want to kind of differentiate this in a moment, but for right now, as a business owner, how do you do that?
My schedule, sometimes people laugh at it, but it's scheduled out and planned weeks in advance of what I'm going to be doing. And the most important things, which are usually leadership team meetings, one-on-ones, development of people, strategy sessions, those take first priority. And the busy work, that keeps us all busy, gets filled into some of the slots, but it's prioritization of the things that I bring the most value and make most important.
So your businesses right now, Jeff, I have one quick question. So
no, please go ahead.
Your businesses right now are what? You always have your hands in a lot of things, I feel like.
So I have 5 operating companies that I'm involved in right now that I'm helping. They all have leaders, and I'm in the advisor, strategic planner role. But we have a group of Goldfish Swim Schools. We have 11 of them. We have a very large driving school that's statewide called Official Driving School. We have a road test company that's been growing fairly large called Same Day Road Test. And we have daycare centers in Texas. We have 2 of them. And those are called Creative World School. And then the 5th and last business that I'm very involved in is with my son, where we buy and own and manage multifamily real estate.
So let me ask you, so that company you started with your son, is that from scratch?
From scratch. He started with the first 11 unit building just over 5 years ago, and we've just been building up since.
So here's my question, Jeff, and then you can have the next question. The difference of being a founder of a business and an advisor of an already established business, right? So or that you're working on with growing, just kind of differentiate that.
Well, I guess founder, we started with just me and Brad, and then we added a third person, and it grew there. We have 30 people today. So I think the learning curve is really, really hard. And I don't aspire to start brand new businesses again. I like doing things that are existing, either an existing operating business. For example, the official driving school was called Sears Driving School just over 7 years ago. It was run really poorly. It was a 100% cash-based business that had very limited computer systems and online booking available. And when we took it over, there was a base. There were teachers, so we didn't have to start from scratch there, but we had to build all the systems from scratch. And we've changed it. It's basically a cashless business. People prepay. Everything's booked online. Everything is computerized. It's a totally different company. That 90 days after we bought it, the seller wanted to come and visit and help, and I'm like, there's nothing you can do here. Like, the business is totally different. You wouldn't recognize anything. So, but I do think it's easier to take an existing business and improve it because you have a base to work off of, or take a franchise with an existing business model and use that business model, follow the system, and replicate it over and over again.
Yeah, great.
I think that, a lot of people that listen here, like, that go through this and, are in business and own their own businesses and all that. I think if you have a small business, you kind of like, you struggle between working, in the business and then on it, right? Like you're like what you were kind of talking about is like, how you grow, that business. And, I often myself get stuck, in what I do, working in the day to day. So for me, to work on and like advance and create is, there's very few hours in the day, whether it's before or after work, because, my day is kind of hit with unexpected issues, problems, questions, that I have to jump on and have to answer the call and, be part of that. What would you say to people who are struggling, with that as far as like compartmentalizing their time and, working towards improving their business?
I would go back to delegating and elevating. You look at all the things you do, you or anyone else, and you try to give up one thing a quarter. One thing a quarter you delegate
It's
out,
hard.
and there's always some one thing, and there's always someone on your team that's dying for more responsibility, more autonomy, that would probably do that one thing that you give to them better than you do yourself.
Yeah.
And then you give up that one thing that quarter and you get that relief from that one thing, and next quarter another thing, and at the end of the year you gave up 4 things off the 100 things you do. And you just start to do this slowly, and over time you'll realize that other people can do a lot of the things you thought no one else can do but you. They can do it better, and then you can create more business. If
Right.
Jeff spent more time in his sweet spot, Title Connect would be 10 times the size, because he'd just be selling and marketing and you wouldn't be in the office at all. So it's really that's what it's all about. You'll bring a bigger company that the people in the office will have more to do what they love to do, while you do what you love to do.
Right.
Yeah. Well said. I always like to look at things, Richard, in minutes. 4 minutes a day saved is 24 hours a year. So, to your point, you let something go. It's 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes. I mean, they compound quarter after quarter, opening up your space. But I just want to go back to your unique abilities for a minute. And because I loved what you were talking about, how, taking a business and doing with it what you talked about, which is, when you really fall into your unique abilities, uncovering, negotiating, figuring out what's not working, inspiring people to rise up, you know, it really fits like a glove. Like your unique ability fits exactly what you talk about. And so if you were talking to somebody right now who is out of alignment, what recommendation do you give them to find their path? It seems to me, my son just graduated college. My daughter is in college. And it seems to me that kids coming out of college today are so stressed out about what they're going to do for the rest of their lives. More so than, I'll say, I think I can speak for all of us. I don't think we were thinking about it to any level that they were. And so
No.
what advice would you give them to, start figuring it out, their ability, their unique ability, their sweet spot?
Well, I think there's this notion that you should know exactly what you want to do at a really young age. And maybe as parents and a society, we should let people explore and try and work on things and do things. Too many people went to school without a goal, and a goal shouldn't be getting a degree. It should be learning how to be whatever, a dentist, a doctor, but you don't know if you want to be that. Well, if you want to go in the medical field, you start to learn. But a lot of kids got a DA. So now they got a degree. They don't know what they're going to do to make a living. Go take jobs and try them. Try different jobs, intern. There was a point in my life, I was 21. I was thinking about buying a restaurant and having a nightclub bar. And I'm like, I wonder if I would even like doing that. And I knew somebody that owned a bar, and I asked if I could work as a bartender one night. And I worked till 3 in the morning. I had a blast, and I realized I don't want to own a bar. That's not the business I want.
All right, his internet connection is bad, so he doesn't want to own a bar.
You want people to try and test and play and look at the world as very, very complex. And let's just say you want to become a finance major or an accountant. Within that, there's so many subsections. You might hate doing the auditing part, but you might like the customer relations part, of finance and accounting. So there's just people need to experiment and stop putting so much pressure on themselves and try different things and don't lock in too early.
I think people are just scared. Like people are scared, and kids. I've gone through this. My son's in college too, and it's we started having a conversation, and I started noticing like he's in the kind of pre-law type track, right? And wanting to go down that road and interested in real estate and had a nice internship this summer and getting some experience and yeah, he's it's like already like it seems like it's pre-programmed, right, in him that like this is the track he's going on, and we're not pushing him in that direction. It's just that society and what is happening, what's going on is nudging him in that way, and he's like feeling comfortable with it now because he knows that he'll have 3 more years of school after he's done with this, and it's like so like for a kid, we talked about noise before, right? I feel like there's so much noise, and I feel like parents have uh, are a lot of the noise is attributed to parents maybe over parenting or pushing or whatnot. Like with your kids, how did you like Brad's a great kid. I know your son well just through our interactions in business and all of that. Like how did you encourage him and push him and but not too much and just give a little insight into like your mindset with that whole thing.
Well, my mindset was if he was going to go to college, and I put an if, I did not make it a requirement. It was a get to, not a have to. You shouldn't be forced to go to college. And if he wanted to go to college, he should go with an intent and a purpose. He said his ultimate goal was to be a business owner and own businesses. Okay, that's great. Well, what are some of the skills you need to do that? Well, one of the ones that 90% of business owners lack in is good financial skills. Accounting, finance, cash management. It's a huge lacking skill in business owners. So I'm like, well, if you're gonna become a business owner and you want to go to college, then study accounting, study finance, like learn that part of the business because that's a portable skill. Taking a psychology or sociology class, they're not going to really help you in the business world, even though it sounds really cool on the syllabus. I never learned anything in those classes that could help me. So he went with that intent. COVID changed things, while he's in school and while he's learning and he's acing the accounting and finance classes. He said, I have enough time because school is really 15 hours a week of class on a 168-hour week. Like it's a joke, right? You pay, $40,000 a year for 15 hours of class per week, only, 30 weeks a year. It is a bit of a scam, but he could use all his spare time to make money or do something else. And then he was doing apartments, and there was a point where he had 40 units. Second semester was coming up. He learned nothing first semester of his sophomore year, and he asked for permission to take a semester off and see if he gave more attention to the real estate, if he could grow that and learn more than he could being in classes where he wasn't learning anything. And he was able to get to a size where he felt comfortable and we felt comfortable. He didn't need to go back to school. But there was never, because you started, you have to finish, you have to do this, you have to do that. You get to remake decisions every day based on all the new information and new facts at the time.
Yeah.
My daughter has shuffled through. She was going to school. She wanted to become an occupational therapist. She found out during that program there were certain things she didn't want to do as an occupational therapist. So she switched tracks to recreational therapy, and she stayed on that track until COVID put a sledgehammer in it. And now she works at an occupational therapy clinic as a care coordinator, doesn't have a degree, but she's found her sweet spot. I'm like, do you want to go back to school? She goes, I'm not sure if it makes sense. Like, what am I going to get by going to school? I don't want to be an occupational therapist. So she can make a living. She can have all the benefits that she needs. So it will be a year by year decision if she needs more education or needs another degree to do what she wants to do next.
Nice.
Great.
I had somebody ask me yesterday, one of my daughter's friends, hey, should I major in, this, or, if I want to go into business? My comment was, it doesn't matter what you major in. If you read, I'll send you 30 or 40 books. If you read those, you'll be more equipped to be in business than any class you can learn about business. So So I hear what you're saying on all of that. You know, there's so many skills. I have a second company with Dave Chernow called Launch 3, which does a lot of the type of stuff. So I'm a big fan of what you're talking about. All right, let's do a quick speed round. Jeff, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, best. Let's see. Best piece of advice that you ever got in business, ever.
Don't give up too easy.
Okay, I like that one.
Good one.
That's good.
A book that made a big impact on you, a non-traditional book that had a big impact on you.
You and I have the same one, John. It's The Universal Laws of Success and Achievement by Brian Tracy. I started listening to it when I was 17 years old. I listened to it over 50 times. I still quote stories from it, and it's changed the direction of my life.
Yeah. I have a great book if you haven't read it. The Fish That Ate the Whale. Have you read it?
No.
So your son, your daughter, Amy may like it too, but not to leave her out. Jeff, you guys would love it. It is the book. It's a game changer book. It's about. I'm not going to tell you what it's about. I just want you to kind of.
I'm going to listen to it. I want you to
check it out. It's about a success story of a guy who had absolutely nothing and just took over the world. Literally, like, it's amazing. In the banana industry, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
In the banana industry.
Yeah, you'll see. He became the banana king. Yeah. All right. Last question. What advice would you give yourself on your own golf game?
On my own golf game, what I need to do is I need to let the club do the work. Don't force it. Just let the club do the work.
There you go. And
it does a good job when I let the club do the work.
It does.
It's the
and
player.
I have one last question. Who's your favorite golf partner?
Oh, Jeff Gunsberg, my favorite part. We laugh, we have fun. He never makes me feel bad when I miss the ball.
Yeah.
We have a blast together. Amazing. Thank you so much, Richard, for being on and sharing the insight. It's amazing to hear from somebody, honestly, who's been through it, who understands, who's got kids, who he's brought along in business and experience things. And just by talking to you too, you get and understand the evenness, right, of how you are, and you don't get too high, you don't get too low. Everyone has their moments, which we all do, but for the most part, you're just always working on, being yourself and handling business and doing your own thing, and it's great to see, and you've been really successful at it. So wonderful.
There is a quote I'd like to add, the Zig Ziglar quote. If you help enough people get what they want in life, you'll get what you want out of life.
I love Zig. Yeah.
Giver's gain.
Yeah. I just want to say this too, Richard. I'm a huge fan. Your Think community, really good example. When you know yourself, everything else kind of begins to fall into place. And you get opportunities put in front of you that feel, I'm not saying anything is easy, but it just feels like a fit, and it shouldn't be push-pull. Nothing's easy, but if you're push-pull, you're kind of usually not in your unique ability. So, Richard, great stuff. Appreciate you. If anybody wants to reach out, how can they connect with you, Richard?
Very easy. Richard@simtob.com. My first name at my last name.com. And there's a website, simtob.com. We have our portfolio, and I'm sure there's a contact us button there too.
Awesome. All right. You can reach Jeff Gunsberg for all your title, commercial, and residential 1031 needs at title-connect.com and johndwoskin.com if anybody wants to talk about coaching. Fellas, thanks so much. Richard, this was awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Appreciate you guys.